Hello guys, thank you for stopping by on the VZ channel. Now today in this video I want to talk to you about Chinese, learning Chinese, specifically Mandarin Chinese. Yeah, definitely, I think you should. Yeah, I mean, first of all, if it comes to mainland China, the answer is easy yes. For me personally in Shanghai, I know quite a lot of people who have lived here for 5-10 years without knowing any Chinese, so you can technically get by, but life's just going to get way much easier to speak the language of the country that you're in. It's just going to open a lot more doors. I'm not talking about business opportunities. I'm talking about, actually living the full experience of the country, like going to all the restaurants where there's no English, making friends who don't speak English that well, traveling, all kinds of things. Yeah, if you speak the language here, things just going to get easier. In the workplace as well, it's not everyone's English who's like super perfect that you can't tell they're native or not. Quite a few Chinese people, their English is good, but there can be miscommunications somehow, and if you know the language, you're just going to get rid of all those misunderstandings. Yeah. When it comes to the outside world though, yeah, I still think it's a good idea to learn Chinese. I mean, learning any second, third language is great, for you. First of all, for your brain, it's just a good exercise, and also, yeah, more opportunities to make friends, possibly get into some kind of jobs that require a second language. That's not even before mentioning the fact that China is well on its way to become the #1 economy in the world. I heard it's something like 2028. Yeah, it's going to be #1 economy in the world, which is awesome. That's not to say that I think the lingua franca of the world, which is English, is going to change. No, I still think English is going to be the global language, but it definitely won't hurt learning the language of the #1 economy of the world. That's just my opinion. Well, actually, my subscribers, and if you're the ones who come in to watch my videos regularly, first of all, thank you very much. But second of all, you are going to hear a lot more Chinese from me soon. Yeah, my Chinese, I would say, is kind of between HSK3, HSK4 level, if we're kind of putting it on those, official brackets. But, there's some vocabulary that I know which is past HSK4, and there's still some words that I don't know from HSK2. But generally, yeah, I'm on a textbook for HSK4 right now, which is definitely not a beginner level, so I won't be too modest there, but it's not that great. I would say it's kind of like the beginner of the intermediate. So I can get by easy, simple conversations, I can understand quite a lot, but I can't have any deep, meaningful conversations yet. Oh yeah, I was mentioning to my subscribers that you're gonna hear me speak a lot more Chinese. I am going to be doing live Chinese lessons soon on this channel. So I'm actually going to be learning Chinese with a teacher, and you're going to experience it with me. So if you're on my sort of level, you might find it very useful. So stay tuned for the future, guys. Well, there are several methods. I think it's very important to say that nothing will ever replace like a real teacher. The times that I have had a real teacher, 2 times now, right? I've had a teacher when I first came to China, and my Chinese just, skyrocketed from that. We did conversation practice. Like, I really like going by the textbook, but not just strictly by the textbook, just doing, blindly doing all the exercises. I like actually conversing with her and learning new vocabulary depending on where the topics that we talk about take us. And yeah, and then I kind of deaded my Chinese learning for 3 years, and then once again I got a Chinese teacher. Yeah, that improved my Chinese massively within just a couple of months. So yeah, a teacher, is never going to be replaced. It's the #1 learning method. Aside from that though, highly recommend an app called Do Chinese. Look it up. You're reading Chinese stories. It has the option to turn off pinyin, so you can have just characters. It has the option to I'm not sponsored by them, by the way. It has the option to listen to it, so you're reading the story, you can press play, and an actual human voice will read the story to you with the right intonation, not like a robotic voice. And all the stories are categorized by levels. So you can read your level, and if you don't know a word, you just put your finger and highlight it, and it will tell you the meaning and pinyin, and then you can swipe up and add it to your flashcards so you can learn that later. But also I massively enjoy, right, when I am studying Chinese, I massively enjoy actually writing characters. It's very important to be able to read, not just speak. And I enjoy writing characters because it's kind of a meditation. So it's a very quick way to actually learn how to read, because if you're writing it, it's going to help you to memorize the characters a lot quicker. Aside from that, I also had a couple of language exchange friends. It's very important to try and use the language every day, not just with your teacher. We can't all afford having lessons every single day, so on the days that you're not having lessons, it's good to keep speaking with natives. So I made a couple of friends on a couple of language exchange apps, and I just try to chat to them. Don't be afraid to put yourself out of your comfort zone, and you're going to learn a lot quicker. Good question. I think grammatically, I was a learner of English, right? My mother tongue is actually Russian, so there was a time when I was learning English, and I would say the grammar of English is a lot harder to learn, even though, you know, Russian and English are both Western languages. There's a lot to grasp on English grammar if you want to speak correctly. Chinese, though, at least as a beginner, you can very much quickly get into it without making too many grammatical errors. So grammatically it's easier. And the tones thing, right? People always get scared of Chinese because of the tones. You know, 4 tones, it's a tone of language. I personally don't think it's that hard. It's just 4. I don't know, I kind of see each word, right? You just have to learn it as vocabulary. Don't let the tones scare you. Just try to learn each word separately as a vocabulary. And they're not too hard to hear. Like, there's some much harder tonal languages, like Cantonese. I heard that has 9 tones, and, you know, Vietnamese, something like that as well. So 4 is not that, like, it's just flat tone, wo, and go up, wo. And the third one is down and up, wo. And the fourth one, which is kind of like a straight down, just sounds like a statement, wo, right? So for me, it's pretty easy to hear those. So I think for me, the most difficult aspect of learning Chinese is probably, like with any other language, the vocabulary. Probably actually more difficult than learning European languages, because so many words in European languages sound like each other, right? They all kind of come from Latin, Germanic roots, so there's many similarities in the Western languages. But, you know, Chinese is totally different. Even if you're learning like Korean, for example, the South Korean, there's many kind of like Koreanized English words. So maybe sometimes you can guess. I heard same with Japanese. Chinese, though, totally different. I can think of a couple of examples actually that kind of come from English, like 浪漫, which is romance. Does it sound like romance to you? 浪漫, right? And then cafe, of course. But yeah, they're very far and few in between. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the B-roll. I shot it today for you guys in black and white. Peace.
我们就是做这个的，
水果
做水果礼盒
啊，
水果虾。你是哥伦比亚的吗？
是吗？
您是哪里的？
我是英国人。
英国的哈，英国的。
我住在上海。
住在上海，没有回家去吧？
还没，我也没回家。
不用
不可以，太
不安全
危险了。
对。
对。现在太危险了，有病毒。
可以给我照一个。
啊，好的。那你有什么水果？
啊？
你有什么水果？
好水果好多，我们都是 very good 的水果。
都是 very good。
对。
苹果
very good 有机的。
西瓜有吗？
西瓜这个时候是反季节，我们做时令水果。我们做中国的时令水果，进口水果呢，有一段时间因为疫情的原因哈，波动很大，然后呢就停了，然后主要做国产的。你看我们是大熊猫，国宝啊。
国什么？
国宝果虾豆。
啊哈，好的。
虾子。
对，你
送到了。
从哪里来的？啊？从哪里来的这个？
我从哪里来的？
不是那个水果。
水果。
对。
我们的水果从我们全国各地。云南。广西。
好的。
四川。陕西。 东北沈阳。
东北有什么？
对，东北有苹果。
苹果啊。
你说的那个有机苹果，有时间的话可以上去玩一下的。
可以。
走累了，可以上去我们上面喝水啊。免费的，免费品尝。
免费吗？
对，免费参观。
好，谢谢。
对。